Alright, Shalom. First off, I want to start by saying all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakadash. That's all praises to who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. The true names in the Hebrew is Yahweh for the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai for his beloved Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy of elect, preaching his word in truth and sincerity. On the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. Lord will with another video to edify.
Foundations coordinating with the CDC and other agencies. They indicate that the first group of people that should get the vaccine, if and when it is available, are people at the greatest risk. And that includes everything from nursing homes to people with serious pre-existing conditions that would cause people to be in real trouble. A lot of those people happen to be black and brown. And so it would be based upon the degree of exposure. It would go first, though, I would argue, but I have a scientific board laid out for me. It would go first, as laid out for me today, to first responders, doctors, and nurses. The people who we're most needed to have available to deal with our crises, health as well as physical crises in our communities.
Black in America, you're twice as likely to die of COVID-19. Yet researchers are seeing a disproportionately low number of Black volunteers for vaccine clinical trials that could save lives. Ron Allen takes a look at what's happening.
Today marks a major milestone in the nation's fight against...
Now, what you got to sit here and understand is that Esau has never looked for your good. These so-called white people, this world in general, has never looked for your good. So why, in the year 2020, when there's generational history of not caring about you people, that these things, and you're in the forefront of those that the world needs to help? Why is it that when a pandemic pops off, that you're the ones that they're thinking of, that this is what we have to save their lives first? You know, you have to put these things in mind. I'm going to read a little bit of this article, because what they're doing now is they're attacking this in a way where it seems very beneficial to you, and it seems like it's going to pander to your plight of being underserved. But you have to sit here and really scrutinize the things that these people are saying. So it says, American Medical Association declares racism a public health threat, prompting both applause and mockery, because the statistics have shown that you're the least medicated. You're less likely to get the medication that you actually need and the services that you actually need from the health system. So what? They're painting this thing as a health threat because now you are the face of this current pandemic. So I'm going to read a little bit of this article. It says the American Medical Association, AMA, has voted to recognize racism as a public health threat and pledged to actively work on dismantling racist policies. Some cheered the decision, while others were dismayed by the move. You know? So they'll hit you with some truth, but they'll sit here and do it on their means. That's why it says, sit not at all with a rich man, lest he overthrow thee. It says, the new policy rules adopted on Monday are aimed at combating racist policies and practices across all U.S. healthcare, according to a press release on the AMA website. The AMA recognizes that racism negatively impacts and exacerbates health inequities among historical marginalized communities. And what are they trying to say now? that we have to serve you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans first in this pandemic. You have to be the first to get this vaccine injected into you. You know, why is it that you have to be first? And they're painting up the image of you being the sickest and least served and health wise on a grand scale, and they're doing this to the American Medical Association to justify going to you first. They're basically going, and it is true, because they're really gonna use you as lab rats. You know, this thing has already been tested, and you know the effects of it is going to be drastic when this thing rolls out. It says, among other things, the association vowed to acknowledge the harm caused by racism and unconscious bias within medical research. Now, what was the unconscious bias when they were doing the Tuskegee syphilis experiments? What was the racist bias when they were doing hysterectomies on slave women with no anesthesia? You know, what was the racist bias when AIDS was running rampant in the Israelite community, which has been shown to have a patent, meaning it was created? Where were these racist bias? It says, reactions to the AMA decision was predictably polarized on social media, with some cheering the move and while others raised their eyebrows in confusion at why it was deemed necessary. You see, you got to meet this devil with some skepticism. The ones that sat there and said why it was deemed necessary, those are the ones that actually got a thought. Look, you got simple Negro women. It says, OMG, I'm still in shock. We made history today. The American Medical Association recognizes racism as a public health threat. You know, and they say we've known this for some time, you know? So why is it that they've known it for some time, but in the midst of a pandemic, when they're rolling out a vaccine where they worked on this thing in the last 7 months is what they're reporting, that now they want to address it to sit here and label that you need to be treated just as quickly as your Edomite counterparts, your so-called white counterparts. Why is that? You know? So let me get into some of these scriptures, man. And Lord willing, this is going to be all edifying. This is Salakia. This is Jeremiah. You know what? I'll start at this one. Deuteronomy 32 and 7. It says, remember the days of old and consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. So we're supposed to consider the years of many generations. So when you consider the years of many generations, all the modern medical advancements came off of testing and using you Israelites, you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans as lab rats. When you seek these things out, you'll see it. You know? But you have to look at the generations of old and consider that to sit here and prep your mind for this current time to understand why this devil is doing what he's doing now. It is not to help you at all. He'll paint it as that, you know, but it's really not, man. This is Jeremiah 15. Jeremiah 15:4 says, and I will cause them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, because of Manasseh the son of Hezekiah, king of Judah, for that which he did in Jerusalem. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Question mark. So the Lord's asking, who's going to pity you Israelites? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Because that's not going to happen. These nations are not set up for our good, but you have to understand the history to apply to these times. You have to understand who Esau is to protect you in these times. This is Jeremiah 8 and 11. It says, for they have healed the hurt of my people. They have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. And that's what's happening, man. They're screaming peace to you Israelites. You don't have to worry. We're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure that this pandemic doesn't wipe you out because you're dying at exacerbated rates. You know, we're going to make sure we save you first because you're the biggest threatened by this thing. You know, remember, this man is still the devil. This Edomite is still the devil. So when he brings out these vaccines, when he brings out these inoculations, you're supposed to look at it in an unfavorable light, man. You know, when you think about Superman and Lex Luthor, Superman was always on edge about Lex Luthor, man. Even when he had to get his help, he looked at him like, man, he was ready to sit here and ready to fight him at a moment's notice. You got to look at this devil like that, man. Because we're coming into the days now where they're going to start pushing this on you, and you will have to sit here and consciously deny the devil and stand in faith to Yahweh Shai Shai and believe that they'll protect you, he'll feed you. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai will feed you, protect you, clothe you, shelter you, and keep this devil off your neck. It says, we have looked for peace, but there was, it says verse 15, it says, we have looked for peace, but no good came. And for the time of health, and behold trouble. And that's what Jake is going to look at this. You know, simple bird brain Negroes are going to look at this and say, this is the time of health, when we're finally going to get the health advancements we need and be recognized that we're disenfranchised through this health system, just as it said in this comment on this article, thinking that it was going to be something good for them. You're going to look at this and be like, it's the time for help, but behold, trouble. Trouble is going to come upon you through this. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Ecclesiasticus in Sirach 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. And the scriptures tell you who your enemy is. In the book of Deuteronomy 28 chapter, say you shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. You know? So who sold the Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans? Who put them into slavery? You Edomites, you so-called white people. And here it is. It's the same ones they're sitting there saying, you're coming in these coming days, you will have to take this to be able to live a normal life. And it's only going to sit here and further on to go into the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip that can be implanted into your hand. And you will not be able to buy or sell save you had that chip. You know, Esau works with gradualism. You know, he's going to take away some liberties and privileges from you and dangle it like a carrot in front of a horse with a contingency plan. And it's going to be that chip and that vaccine, man. You know, it says verse 12 or verse 11. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed of him. Take good heed and beware of him. So Esau's going and humbling, crouching, sitting there saying, we have to help you at first. This is disproportionately affecting the black and brown community. You're supposed to take good heed and beware of a devil like that. It says, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust, meaning his corruption, because rust corrupts and corrodes a metal. And it says, and thou shalt know that his rust, his corruption, had not been altogether wiped away. So this devil is still doing wicked stuff and speaking softly with his lips, man. So beware of this devil, man. Don't take what he's gonna start pushing out here, man. No matter what. You believe in the Lord, man. Believe in the Lord. So Lord willing, this is edifying them and say, call halal, Yahweh, Bashim, Shai, Bashim, Karkadah, Shalom.